Hello. My name is Callista, and welcome back to When the Night Comes. In the last episode, we had a bit of a chat with Piper. She's really not taking this very well, the idea that her very good friend could be a big fuck-off monster, and that is understandable. That is very bad news to hear, but it seems that the game is giving us the option to either sympathise with Harry or condemn him. I find that very interesting. I'm very intrigued what endings we could possibly get with this. Now, Camille was heading to the Ibeck, I believe. I approached the Ibeck with the same level of caution and awareness I always do, even though I'm now quite well acquainted with its inhabitants. Hello! You are not familiar to me. Hi, who is you? There's a young woman at the doors who straightens when I approach. Something in that single movement, not to mention her attire and the pistols that decorate her holster, suggests a trained fighter. Yes, they had a bodyguard. I can't remember her name. But when she meets my eyes, there's only curiosity there, not wariness. I remember Harry mentioning a guard who works at the Ibex sometimes. Look, that was it, Lux. Lux, or Raven's partner. Perhaps this is her. Yes. You can see the bite marks. Oh, boss. This is right at the end. You can't give me an entirely new character to voice. What the hell? Oh God. Also, I believe I misspoke in the last episode. I think I said there were only 10. No, there are 10. I think I said there were 9 chapters. I misspoke there. I'm pretty sure there are 10. And then there are 3 extra, bonus mini-stories that I do intend on going through. But yeah, back to Lux. How do you sound? You know what? Fuck it. You can be Irish. That's one of the few accents I have left. I would quickly like to apologise to the Irish, because this is going to be shit. Clover. I have to say Clover to get into it. Hunter Abeline, I assume. I nod, offering her a small smile. She appraises me for a moment, and then her wariness fades. She sticks out a hand with great enthusiasm, and grins from ear to ear when I take it. It's nice to finally meet you. Likewise, may I enter? She inclines her head and steps aside, arms crossed. I'm not gonna stop you. I give her a polite nod and quickly move along, able to feel her eyes on my back until the door swings shut and spares me from her attention. It's cold inside, even though it's daytime. The place is just as dilapidated as it was when I first visited, but towards the altar at the end, it seems like someone has been cleaning up. The floor is swept, a crimson cloth covers the altar, and seated upon it with her booted legs swinging, attention firmly fixed upon what looks like an embroidery hoop, is Elaine. I wait a moment before approaching to give her some time to notice me, but her eyes and hands remain focused on her task. Eventually, I give up and just go up to her. Oh, she knew you were here before you came in through that door. Elaine scares the shit out of me. She likely knows I was coming from down the street anyhow, if she's anything like most demons I've encountered. Sure enough, there's no surprise in Elaine's brown eyes when she looks up at me, smiling warmly and setting her project aside. Hello, Hunter Abeline. I stop and blink, and Elaine frowns immediately, pressing a finger to her lips. There's a mellowness to her aura that doesn't put me at ease as he does. What? don't understand that sentence. Have I missed something? No, I don't know what they're talking about here. There's a mellowness to her aura that doesn't put me at ease as he does. I'm just trying to figure out what they mean. Maybe they mean Omen? Omen has a mellow aura that puts Camille at ease, but Elaine's doesn't. That's my best guess. There's a mellowness to her aura that doesn't put me at ease as he does. And as Elaine peers at me with open amusement and interest, I can't put it into words, but somehow I think I know why. I heard you encountered the creature. Yes, I did. Did Omen tell you? Elaine shakes her head, then shrugs. I'm sorry though, Camille. I take it you saw your kin in that chimera? This time, it's definitely a chill that runs down my spine. How did you... No. I've heard it crying and I found its presence strange. I didn't investigate, though. Elaine covers her mouth with a hand, her brow furrowed as she stares at the red cloth beneath her seat. I didn't think it was your target. It was sad, not dangerous. You heard it cry? When? A little while ago now. It was a very sad thing. If it were once human. I quickly put a hand to my lips. No one knows that detail yet aside from those I've told, and Lux is just outside the door. Elaine blinks at me slowly, calmly. She tilts her head to the left, then to the right, sizing me up. Then she exhales. Is that disappointment or sadness that I sense? Are you looking for Omen? There's a distinct and uncomfortable feeling that the more I talk to Elaine, the more likely she'll get upset. That feeling is accompanied by the gut-deep knowledge that the princess is not like the prince. She wears a human glamour as firmly and as easily as Omen does, and their eyes have the same kind cast. But she looks at me like a demon looks at a mortal. And I don't know if I want to see the version of me that's reflected in her eyes. Not right now. Not with Harry and what he's done weighing on my soul like a stone-hard burden. Yes, do you know where he is? Stay here. Elaine hops off, grabs her embroidery hoop, and ducks into one of the side rooms. As the last flash of her tail vanishes, the front of the temple also changes. Clean swept stone floor becomes dusty and cobwebby again, save the imprint of her boots on the ground. The altar returns to its dusty state, and the red cloth thrown over it just straight up evaporates. An illusion. I didn't even notice. I didn't even sense that there was anything wrong with such a large swath of the room. Before I can dwell too much on how Elaine managed it, a familiar figure emerges. Omen gives me a once-over as he approaches, and the expression on his face is sincerely, almost insultingly sympathetic.
You didn't come to pray.
No, I don't believe Camille did. No, I didn't. He looks at me again, tail swaying gently. I want to tell him my purpose myself so he won't have to guess, but the words don't come out. Because I don't know. At this point, I'm just wandering aimlessly, trying to kill time to avoid the inevitable. Elaine is gone, but I don't know what I can tell Omen that I haven't already. And I don't know if I can put the questions I really have for him, for anyone, into proper words. Camille, my sister told me you were looking for me. Something like that, yes. I study Omen for a moment. Compared to Elaine, he's closer, maybe even truly comfortable around me. But I shouldn't forget he's not one of us. I must apologize. Omen blinks, then inclines his head. The words come out of nowhere. Even I'm not so sure that it was wise I've let them out, but he doesn't seem surprised.
Whatever you want to apologize for, it's not necessary. I caused a disturbance when I came here. That much I can't deny. All to be free from my father. I thought that only I would suffer the consequences, not that it would affect others so severely. I was a fool. Powerful things always break something else when they attempt change.
You're not responsible for the things Harry did.
Thank you for saying that. Still, I put this trouble before him. Maybe he wouldn't have been driven to these means otherwise.
That is the question. Would Harry have done it if he had known why Lunaris was suddenly being flooded by creatures? And I'm not gonna lie, I am inclined to say no. I don't think he would have done what he did if he could have found an answer to the question, but he couldn't. He didn't know why things were happening, and so he took a very drastic action. That doesn't make it right, that doesn't make it better, but I will say that I don't think Harry would have done this if he had some other means of, achieving his goal, or if he had known why this was happening, because presumably then he would have just closed the portal, he would have asked August and Ezra to do that ritual, I frown at him. Not because I completely disagree with him, but because it does make me wonder. I've rarely had the chance to converse with a being so old. Demons, in particular, have always existed closely to human history. Would it matter if you hadn't, and he didn't? Or wouldn't it have, because this is what he's capable of regardless? Omen blinks slowly, his head tilted in that almost unnatural way. He folds his hands and studies me for a moment, then looks at some point past my head. There's a faraway look in his eye that makes me think he's reminiscing, and what I wouldn't give to be able to read his mind.
I think you ask a question meant for a hunter. You destroy creatures when they hurt others, but you must know that all creatures are capable of harm, and of evil.
He's got a point.
Is it wiser for you to kill someone because of its potential to do harm, or kinder for you to not bet its life on your fear? Either way, I don't think this is what you really want to know.
That's for me to decide. He's no longer smiling, but there's something in his eyes that's less speculative now, and more like respect.
My sister and I have friends in this town, people we love in this town. We have things to lose. You have my promise to help when you need it, and I have faith that you'll make the right choice, whatever your definition of right is.
Are you not worried that my definition will be different from what you hoped?
Maybe, but I'm sure you'll do whatever you think best. I think you're kind, and if you weren't, maybe you would have hurt less about all of this.
Thank you. Omen tilts his head this way then that, contemplative.
Few seek the advice of a demon. Fewer take it seriously. I wonder if it's fate that I'm here. This place has taught me so many things.
You're a prince of demons, wouldn't you know?
I would need much older eyes to see something so vast. My father would know. Perhaps it's why he doesn't understand why I love your kind, your fragile, flowing world, your lives so short they could be measured by seasons, as I do.
As Alcar puts it, it's his fucking loss. I have to snort a laugh, hearing that word spill from his mouth. Definitely Alkar's influence. Damn right. Oh. I'm... This one is interesting. Because I want to understand him. Here's the thing, both of these are true. Camille absolutely believes that Harry needs to be taken down. He has done something horrific. People have died because of his actions. He needs to be stopped. However, on some level, I do think Camille wants to know, like, why did this happen? Why did this have to occur? Why didn't he choose to go with some other route? Excuse me. Oh. I don't know. Oh, God. I'm gonna go with I want to understand him. But if it's really like, oh, he shouldn't be punished, I think he had good reason. At that point, I'll go back and I'll confront him, because just because Camille wants to know why this happened doesn't mean she suddenly thinks that, like, oh, he shouldn't be punished. He should be punished. Effectively, she's kind of like, I want to know why he thought this way. So then in the future, if I see anyone thinking like that, then we can nip it in the bud. We need to learn from our mistakes. And just killing him and then being like, well, clearly he was crazy, no rhyme or reason, ba ba ba. Like, we haven't learned anything from that. So, like, we need to understand what he was going through, so then we confront him, and then hopefully we won't make these mistakes again. The words lodge in my throat, the intentions too. Omen studies me, but with a soft, trusting expression. Perhaps my first impression is right. I must think on this and act on this alone. I need to speak with Harry. I need to understand him better. There's a passing look he gives me, and I can see that it's both fear and sympathy. Fear for my well-being, undoubtedly. There's no telling what Harry will say or do, and sympathy for what I assume is my attempt to reason with the man. I understand, just... He smiles again, but this time with sadness tinged in his eyes.
Be careful.
I'm happy with that. I nod and swallow the lump in my throat. I will, I promise. I should go. All right, I understand. Shaking my head, I step away, and then turn and head for the door. Suddenly, the church feels too oppressive. I have to get out, clear my head. Think. Though I know with a faint feeling of dread which way my choices will lead. I can feel Omen's eyes on my back until the door closes. Alkar is waiting for me outside of the temple, much to my lack of surprise. I've had the sense he's been keeping an eye on me more than usual since the encounter with the creature. My thanks. For? I might have been convinced that I was mistaken, if not for the pout and the defiance on his face. Stifling a grin, I raise my hands in a gesture for peace instead. No need to poke the sensitive wolf today. Waiting for me. I take it you want to talk?
Assuming a hell of a lot, aren't you? But you're right enough. You're about the only exciting thing left in this goddamn town.
And the whole... He gestures vaguely in my direction, and I can't quite get his meaning. I'm not entirely sure Alcar himself knows what he means either, because the expression on his face is one I can't read. One of the many things I've learned about the Half-Lycan is either he won't lie, or he's hellishly bad at it. It reminds me of the folk stories of wolves as betrayers and deceivers. Even now, and not just surrounding Alcar, I wonder if those who told the folklores mistook wolves for foxes, or for their neighbours. Maybe their boss. The whole debacle? Yeah, that. A pause, almost awkward.
So, listen. I'm no good with the whole emotional thing. That's what Ezra's here for.
Ezra's here to handle all your feelings for you, is that it?
No, he just self-expresses better is all. Makes the sentimental shit sound more natural, not so awkward and weird. Anyway, I just wanted to ask if you're doing okay.
Aw, he does care. Oh. I appreciate the effort you took to arrive at that question.
What do they say? Effort shows affection or something?
Everything is a mess, I suppose. I'm not just going to let all of it, all of what we've learned, go if that's what you're worried about.
I didn't think you would. In fact, I trust that you won't. I know you're gonna try to do something about this mess.
Something probably dangerous. Or if you won't, they'll force you into it. He says it with such bitterness, with such certainty that I know immediately the sentiment must have come from personal experience. I'll do my utmost to prove them unnecessary. I won't be caught dead by anyone else saying this, but if you do, I'd appreciate that. I'm sure you would. Then he inhales deeply, lets it out, slow. So, humor me. What are you up to? Ooh. Here's the thing, we do need to confront him. It's how, like I said, Camille, she wants to know why Harry did this. She does want to talk to him, but ultimately, he needs to be punished. He can't get away with what he's done. I look away. Every time someone asks this, every time I ask myself the same question, I hope that the answer would come easier by now. That I'd be more sure, but also I do kind of like that this is creating uncertainty. You know, she's really struggling with the fact of like, I gave my life to this organization. I've been trained to be a good little soldier and always obey the enforcers, and now I'm kind of breaking the rules. And I don't know how to feel about that. I also really like that, yeah. It changes almost by the minute. I'll confront him. I'm a general, and though he's my superior, I stop there. Alcar has been remarkably upfront with me about everything, despite his original warning to not trust anyone in this town, including himself. That doesn't mean Hunter's business is for his 4 ears. Oh my god, they're referencing this. So when I first started playing this, I didn't notice that he had 4 ears. I thought he just had the wolf ears. And then my fiance actually pointed out in the comments, he's got 4 ears. And that freaks me out. That ain't right. That ain't natural. That's an old, easy excuse. In truth, it's more that I don't want to say the words. Make them real. That's rough, buddy. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm grab this because I think I'm gonna leave this episode off right here. In the next one, Camille is really trying hard to grapple with her emotions over what she should do about Harry. Will she finally come to a consensus? Well, you'll have to find out in the next episode. So, until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.